All right, everybody, we should be live. Hello and welcome to the first Thin Line Defense live chat. So in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to try to talk about our previous videos. So this is the first one. So there's a whole ton of previous videos, but ideally in the future, we'll be here to talk about what we just showed last week. So we'll be able to show you in our reviews what we have thought and talked about in that review from each one of our individual perspectives. So Joe may have done a 6mm arc, or Jason may have looked at something special or had some cool belt. And then we're going to go into the actual Q&A, and that's where we're going to be able to. Someone's talking to me already. Oh my goodness. So then we're going to go into the Q&A, and where you guys can ask questions about our reviews, or you can go back to whatever we said previously, and you can add comments or ask specifics. Like if you want to know tons about that ATN, I am certainly excited to tell you about it. So obviously we'll go around the room. I am Walsh. You've seen me doing a ton of the optics on the channel. And then we have Joe. He's our secret mystery guest. You'll never know who he is. You've probably seen him and you probably didn't even realize it. Then we got Cody, who is always angry. No, he's not angry. And of course, Jason, who does all our reloading and does all our bags and stuff. So let's start this week. Let's talk about that those BFE pants. Is that what they're called? BFEs from LA Police Gear, the ones you just did on Tuesday, Cody?
Yeah, and I did a little research to try to find out why they call them the BFE pants, and I didn't find anything. But yeah, the BFE stretch pant.
I think I remember Joe, one of our patrons. He was putting in some pretty funny acronyms for it, so I'm pretty sure he had it figured out.
Yeah,
big lip band elasticity.
Yeah.
Oh, look, you guys see? Check this out. Look who's in the chat right now. We got Black in here. Calling out some combat Cody. You never know what Cody's going to be here to fight. So I picked up some of those BFE pants too. I've actually been running those side by side with the proper arrows. Jason, didn't you say you had some of those pants too?
Yeah.
The arrows.
Yeah, I got proper arrows, and I have 2 pairs of those BFEs that just came in this week.
I like the BFEs. I didn't notice, maybe I messed up your video when I was editing it, Cody. I didn't notice the elastic on the side of the pants, like how they stretch out. So if someone said that to us, we're like, oh yeah, they do have elastic on the sides.
Yeah, just a little bit. It's not a lot of play, but I mean, every little bit counts, especially for people like me.
I like the blown out pants. Those are my favorite though. Like the fact that you had just a whole assortment of them.
Yeah, there's always a lot of friction down there.
Did you see this little hidden segment I put at the end? All right, where it's like calling out 511.
Yeah, if 511, if you're listening.
It's a little warm in this region.
That's why I kept those pants. They were the first ones I blew out, and I brought them to the seamstress. I'm like, hey, this is my issue, and she's like, I'll fix that. And so
I still have my 5 pairs. So my job gave me 5 pairs of the 511 pants. I still have them. I don't know how many I have left, but a couple of them have little tears or a small hole in them or something. But I just wear those. So once I wear those out, I might jump on the old bandwagon with you guys and go through LA Police Gear.
They're pretty good. I will say the arrows. I want to do a video on them. The proper arrows they're a lot lighter. They seem almost more like those jogging pants, like the swishy pants. They feel like that, but in like a tactical kind of pant. It's kind of weird. I was like,
but it's not the thing about the arrows. Like if you're going into the side pockets, like you're not lifting up your whole leg as you're trying to open up those pockets. It's really cool how well they work. I've had some like off-brand Sportsman's Warehouse type, and you do that. You go into the cargo pocket, and either the whole pocket flap rips off because it's cheap, or you're like lifting up half your leg just to try to get that pocket open.
The only thing I didn't like about the arrows, like that same side pocket, it's like this big pocket, but then like barely fits my hand. You know what I'm saying? Like it just seemed like it had this big pocket, and it didn't fit very much in those arrows.
Cody, I can't remember. Did those pants have a zipper pocket or a like Velcro flap for the cargo?
Yeah, zipper pockets. So they're identical. Nice. Yeah, they're identical to 511's Apex pants.
So I spoke to the LA Police Gear that he was talking to us, the CEO. He's going to be super mad that I don't say his name, but they are talking about doing their own attack pant, like the cries and that stuff, but doing them super cheap. So I think they're going to let us see some later where we can compare them. So we'll be able to compare them to like the G3s, and me and Cody have those IO gear ones that we can compare them against, so we can see some cooler attack pants. But yeah, I'm really happy with the BFEs and the arrows. So kind of pretty impressed with proper and LA police gear. We'll see if we can put some links down in the chat too, so if people are watching later, they can see those.
And you have them in the video too, right? The links to the actual pants.
Yes, yeah, in the actual video reviews, yeah.
And unfortunately, we just missed a flash sale.
Yeah, hey, Joe, who's super grainy? Which one of us is super grainy?
I don't know.
Not you, Joe. Eyes wide
probably
shut.
new.
Oh. Cody, are you logged in as the Thin Line Defense account?
Not in YouTube. I can do that though.
If you do, see if you can give moderator to Black and to Eyes Wide Shut, just so in the future when we have chats, if someone gets rowdy in here, they can get in there and cut people out.
All right.
Cut them off.
Bad enough. Yeah, get out of here.
So what are we done talking about the pants?
Yeah.
What else
So
are we gonna talk about?
So we can go over. Let's.
Cody's super
kind of
grainy.
in the past. It's kind of in the past, but let's also touch on the 6mm arc, because I know we both have things to talk about and things that are coming forward. So I think it'd be good to kind of lead into what's happening too, and then I can add in with the ATN also.
Yeah, absolutely. So going with the 6mm arc, I'm sure you guys know I tried my heart out with that 224 Valkyrie. I just couldn't get it to shoot right. And in its defense, though, I had just started off reloading and I had no idea what I was doing. So, but off the shelf ammo, it didn't like anything except for the cheapest ammo. And I would get 4 to 8 shots almost touching, and then one shot would be 2 to 3 inches away. So the fix for that was to rip out the 224 Valkyrie barrel and put in the 6mm arc barrel. I was a little skeptical, honestly, because coming from somebody I had never heard of Shaw Precision, never heard of them, didn't know what to expect. It's a brand new cartridge. I got burned on the Valkyrie, so I was a little skeptical going into it. But from that video you guys saw, if you watched it, it actually shot really, really well. I was shooting like crud that day, but luckily I had a second shooter that day, and he was shooting amazingly. So going forward, you'll see a couple video coming out. I'm messing with my own custom hand loads. I will say you can either do trial by error and just put a bunch of different rounds, brands, whatever into your gun and hope for the best, or you can actually buy the tools and measure where a projectile makes contact with the lands and grooves and measure your ogive from that. And jump based off that data, I knew that the blacks are going to work well in my gun and the match were not. And that other shooter ended up buying a gun, and based off of his ogive, we figured that match were going to shoot great in his gun, and the Hornady black were not. So took it out to the range, improved it. We got it documented for the most part, and that will be coming up. But so far, I'm stoked with that 6mm arc. That's exactly what I wanted in an AR-15 platform. Now the question is, can I continue to shoot well, and can I push it out to 1,000 yards?
Yeah, and in some coming up videos too, we're going to be covering a little bit of what Joe's talking about, and talking about the ogive and some of the things that he went through in the testing. So you too, as the viewers, can kind of see what he's talking about and how to measure it to know what ammo works best instead of shooting. You know, we see guys are like, let's shoot 20 different boxes and see which one shoots the best. That's just not possible in the world we're in right now.
And not just that, Walsh, but I learned that just because that ammo shoots good in your gun does not mean it's going to shoot good in somebody else's gun.
Yeah.
It's all about that ogive. Honestly, the Hornady match, it's 1,000th off of making contact with the lands and grooves in that shot barrel. But yet in the other shooter gun, it's 4,000ths off. So it will shoot just fine in his barrel. It won't shoot worth a darn in mine. So if I made a video saying, hey, this match is absolute crud, anybody else could go out and buy it and shoot it in their gun, and they're going to call me a liar because it works great in their gun.
Yeah. So how's that really awesome Athlon scope working out for you?
Actually, man, you give me credit all the time about that scope. I love that scope. So everybody, you see Welch talking trash about that scope. This was my budget build. So that scope, I think, ran me $350. I forget what the specs are, like an 8 to 34 power. Anybody out here watching this, find me a 34 power scope for $350. Not only that, but it has a lifetime warranty. The glass is not bad at all. I mean, it's not the clearest glass in the world, but the glass is not bad at all. It tracks true. It stays on target. I mean, I just throw that thing. I'm rough with my guns. I throw it in a soft bag. I throw it in the back of my truck. It's always been on. I like that scope.
Blam in your face, Braden.
Yeah, I do think it's interesting that there's so many people who are like, you have to have all this really great. You have to have double the optic and of the rifle you own, like double the price, and all these things you have to have. And I like to give Joe crap about it because I usually run some sort of crazy dumb optic. But when it comes down to it, Joe's going to go out there and shoot half MOA groups with just the budget build. I think it's awesome that he's showing that you don't need it. And when he goes out there and drills 1,000 with just an Athlon scope, yeah, it's gonna be great
for $350, and they have a lifetime warranty. I mean, like I said, the glass could be clear, but I would have to pay an extra $1,200 to get that. So
I found the only way the glass, like when they say glass is clear, usually that's just because I have more parallax adjustment that I can tune it in. Like
that's because you're used to using expensive optics. You haven't looked through the trash that we're using, so of course the glass is clear and you can't see the haziness.
What was the Athlon I had? It was the Helos. It was the one.
I don't
step
know.
up.
Yeah, it was double my price. I remember that.
What's so dumb is it was double the price, same glass, but it just had lockable turrets. You paid like double the price just for turrets that push down. It made no sense.
And I specifically remember telling you don't buy that one, to buy the cheapest one, and
I should have.
Some people like to throw money at their problems.
Well, I still can't. I mean, I already upgraded the Vortex Viper, and I already can't shoot better than that thing. So I don't know why. But yeah. So
I mean, if you get a scope that you're going to mount that is good for you, right? That's what it all comes down to. What's good for you? We try to be open and honest on that channel. There's plenty of things that I like that nobody else does, and vice versa. So it all comes down to what's good for you, what's good for your budget, what's good for what you're trying to attempt to do with that scope, and what's good for the round caliber and everything else that you're using, right? That's what it comes down to. My biggest complaint about scopes right now in the cheaper market is, number one, the glass, whatever. I can get over that. But it's either when you fire the rifle or the firearm, the next shot isn't in the same place, right? So it throws off wherever you had your crosshair set at. That's number one. And number two is how thick the crosshairs are. I can't stand when you're like trying to shoot through a scope and it looks like somebody made the etching with a Sharpie, and it just completely covers whatever you're shooting at. So those are my two big complaints.
My biggest one, I don't mind the mess up glass. Like dirty glass is whatever. I'm still going to be I don't need to have the super most accurate, clearest glass. You don't need that. Mine is the reticle. Like I hate when I'm like, hey, I need to be, when you just have the crosshair and you're like, okay, I need to be, down to, Jason's connecting back up.
I'm coming.
I need to go down to and then over to. Now I'm just like in space as to where I need to put the actual reticle, and there's nowhere in space. Like I love the Christmas trees because then you can just mark where you need to be very easily. I mean, you can dial into it, but
absolutely.
Huge
I agree. You have to have some sort of etching on your glass, in my opinion. That, like I said, that fits me and what I'm shooting, because I'll do holdovers and I'll do mechanical adjustments. But if you're trying to engage stuff that is at multiple different distances, people think that you can, I'm going to get my book out and I'm going to go 5 mil up and turn that into my scope. And then, now there's something that I want to shoot at 300 yards. So you have to turn it back down. Eventually you're going to forget where you're at. Even if you could do it fast enough to engage targets, you're going to forget where you're at in that scope. So I don't know. I like holdover. There's a time and a place for both.
Yeah, and that's something we're going to go over because we have one scope that is a turret adjustment. And then there's another 6.5 Creedmoor we have from Primary Arms that has all the BDC for all the actual 6.5 different ranges, like out to 1,000, I think. So we're going to kind of show you some of the difference between, doing multiple targets at, turret adjustments or just using holdover, and kind of the differences between those and why you would do each one. I'm with Joe. I think holdover is a ton faster. It's just hard to do on a mil-dot scope because you have to kind of memorize where you're 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. You got to be like, okay, I'm at, 100, obviously 0, but then 300's at 1, 400's at 2, 500's at 2, 3.6.
Yeah,
yeah. You gotta remember all that, but it's not in front of you, so you gotta look at it and be like, okay, so I need to know. Okay, I'm at 400. I need to know to go 4.6 or whatever, and you're like, remembering them all. I'm just not good about it.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I'm going to do up my own range card. I call it a range card. I'm not a range card, but
a dope card.
Dope.
Yeah, my dope card. I'm going to do up my own dope card. But then, again, like any type of elevation, a cold or hot day will throw that off, right? So if you had a 105 grain like I'm shooting now, and then you jump up to 108 grain, toss that out the window. None of that works anymore.
I mean, it's even so crazy as if you have a 5-mile-an-hour wind difference, you probably just trash it. Like everything going out, it's going to be so crazy. And this is something me and Jason never really got to the bottom of. We got into a conversation about it, is whether or not wind coming from opposite directions, seeing how the bullet's rotating in a particular direction, if that actually changes the bullet's fire, like if it slows it down and makes you have to aim up higher or lower.
I don't think I remember that conversation. I don't think it doesn't slow down the spin of the projectile, but I do think it does affect the projectile differently depending on which way the wind's coming from, because either the projectile turning into that wind or that wind helping it go over top of it, right? So I don't think it actually slowing down the spin of the projectile, but it is going to blow it off course more or less. So, and I think, what is it? You looked it up in that ballistic calculator. I think with a right hand spiral or right hand twist barrel, you have to allow, or it's more adjustment if it's blowing from right to left, right?
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, it was something weird. Like I remember we kept moving the wind around and noticed that. But I was even noticing some elevation changes. They were minor, but it was almost 2 mil out at like 800 yards. 0.2. I was like, that's enough to throw you off.
Yeah, and for everybody else we're talking about, we had a discussion on if you with a 10 mile an hour from the left or 10 mile an hour from the right, how far do you have to adjust your scope according to a ballistics calculator? So, and it was a little bit different, but who knows?
Yeah, you would think because it was weird because it was come from the left, and you'd be like, all right, you need to do, let's just say 0.3 mils to the left. But if it comes from the right, it was only like 0.15. But it even messed with the elevation too. Like, oh, you need to make some small elevation adjustments too. I was like, that's really weird. So that's what I was asking Jason about. I was like, is that what's happening? Like, it's a little confusing. Yeah. So cool. Okay, well, going down, we got Yari here. He's saying, yeah, for the ATN. So I know we got some more comments in here too. We'll get to those. We'll start here. That ATN, I did that review. I'm hoping everybody watched that video, at least some of it or all of it. It was so unbelievably bad. I don't know why that product is on the market. I don't understand how it got on the market. And I think the idea is they're going to make it way better. They did this new upgrade on SHOT Show. Did you see this, Jason? Where they have like a thermal attachment to the front of scope now. Yeah. I think it costs like $3,000 though. So
it adds, I forgot how many pounds.
Yeah, I was about to say that won't make it any lighter.
I'm exaggerating, but it was like 10 ounces or something like that. 11 ounces.
But the other one, I could get about an hour and a half out of those 4 batteries, and then they would just be done. Like the whole thing would be just done. It was just absolutely ridiculous, completely unusable. And I'll say that the new ones are just as bad because they didn't fix anything. It's still going to weigh 1 million pounds. It's still, I don't even know what batteries the new. Let me know down in the comments, Yari, if you know what batteries the new one's using. And then you still have to have your fate. The biggest problem was having to hold it, and then there's no other way to mess with the menus than you're supporting the whole gun and then pressing all these buttons, and there's like a bajillion menus. I'm the most technically inclined of all of us, and I hated it. Like, you would think I'd be like, oh yeah, it's all techno whiz bang. Like, no, horrible. Like, it would take me an hour to
That,
three shots.
that quick start guide was like 7 pages long with multiple paragraphs for a quick start.
Like, quick, this is 7
Like
page.
I thought quick starts nowadays were just like you open it up and it's like step 1, they have an arrow pointing to something. Step 2, an arrow pointing to somewhere else, and step 3, another arrow. Like, there's not even words in quick starts anymore, except for ATM.
Yeah. So it's really bad. I will say a large amount of people came out of the woodwork to express how angry they were that we didn't love ATN. So I'm going to continue. Hold on. I'm going to skip Black's question.
I've never used it. And based off of just one major thing on that, I never will. And that's that delay. You can't have a delay in your optic, man. You can't do it.
And so the input lag made it horrible. Like, it was horrible. But to me, the reticle, because if I shot and missed, I'd have no reference to correct the shot.
Yeah, you can't, because it's only calculating your shot. Dude, I don't believe anything. I mean, I have a ballistics calculator for that 6mm, and it said 1.1 elevation up at 300 yards. It's actually 0.8. So if the ballistics in that is off, you're not going to hit anything with that, man. That thing's worthless.
No, and all the videos I see on YouTube, like how I can kind of understand where the zoom's at as I've used one, I can tell that these guys are all shooting at targets within 50 yards. So it's like, okay, yeah, I mean, you're using a 4x14 scope at 50 yards. Like, yeah, that's going to be. Yeah.
I hope if I ever get into a gunfight, the bad guy has that optic.
So an ATN, that'd be so great. Like,
all I have to do is do this from side to side, and they're never gonna hit me. Never gonna hit me.
They will know where we are.
Just do a sniper walk, and they'll never hit you. Yeah, recalculate. Turn right now.
I gotta get your range. I gotta get your feet. No, too fast. And it took so long. Like, if you're ranging the feet, you'd be like, I'd like go to move, like, no. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now do the head. Okay.
Dude,
even from a hunting,
you could be set up. You could be set up in a DFP, and I could be walking across the field and just see you, right? I could get my backpack off, lay down, take my time, crack my beer open, and fire a shot before you even know how far I am.
Yeah.
Did you see the night vision though? Like, the quality is so bad. Like,
oh yeah,
just taking an image.
I could definitely PID a target with that night vision, right? Why'd you shoot the neighbor cat? Oh, because I was at 14 zoom and I thought it was a coyote.
Like, it's just a one white square. Like, look, you can tell how clear it is.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
So, you remember those infrared, or no, it was night vision or the thermal scope we had at the office in the sandbox?
Yep.
Remember how big that was? It reminds me of the scope. Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly what it reminds me of.
Yeah.
And guess what? That came off of that 240 Bravo, or no, we had it on the the 240 Bravo.
We didn't have it on anything. I just carried it in the truck with me every once in a while.
Oh heck no! After we got the Map V's, dude, with the screens that fold down, that thing went in the trash.
Yeah.
I'd rather throw an IR chem light out there and just use MVGs than use that thing.
Yeah.
And Yari brings up a good point. He didn't know what batteries they use, but he knows their external battery pack. I don't know if you guys saw that too.
Where for your butt stock?
You can attach more garbage to your gun. And even then, I even had a comment somewhere.
Honestly, that scope is straight out of like an 80s action movie. That's what it is, dude.
Like Demolition Man.
Yeah, and you got to run a wire to a backpack that has all your battery chargers in it. Yeah.
Like, think if you were actually doing like a day of shooting, you would need to bring a backpack of batteries. Like, you would need that many. Like, I'm gonna shoot all day. Like, okay, I'm gonna go get 50 batteries for the day.
Nah, I only need 1 round, and I'll fix that scope's problem real quick.
I wish we owned that ATN. Well, I think we're gonna build that guy a gun. So as soon as he saw the review, he was like, "I'm gonna sell this." Like, that's a good call, man.
Yeah, that's a good call.
That's a good call.
You're lucky I didn't get a hold of it, man. That would have went back to him with a hole in it.
Okay, so we're gonna go to a tricky question, and we've actually prefaced our answer for this, and I think it's just good that it gets brought up. And I love Black a ton. We all know him, and he goes back a long way. And
read it out loud so I don't have to do this to try
okay,
to read it.
do you think we'll see AR buying restrictions with the new administration?
Ooh.
So here is where we talk, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. We as the four of us love to battle politics. And I say battle, I mean it gets brutal to the point of like, man, I probably shouldn't have said that. That was a little bit rough. We battle.
I literally quit 2 of our chat groups just today.
So when I say that, we came to an agreement that the channel, due to so much of social media and YouTube, and
yeah, I mean, we can visit them without talking politics, right? So the way that the country is going, the way that administration are going, and if they get what they want to have done, Biden been open and honest on his platform that he wants to abolish it. I personally, Joe thinks absolutely that we're going to see restrictions. I'm actually a little afraid on what restriction there's going to be. So, yeah, I think we will see restriction. I hope we get grandfather clauses. I don't know if we're going to.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm sure there'll be some sort. I hope they're just intelligent. I think, and this is just me. This is not the world of everything. I think some training and knowledge should be involved. The number of people that we work with that don't necessarily know how to operate a gun at all kind of scares me a little bit. But it is a right. It's a right of all people to own. So there's going to be a lot of culture change and shift. But we have, even internally from our group, we've talked about certain things that it may be smart to buy now and stock up on. Like,
I mean, I've been doing that for 3 years. I've been upping my collection for 3 years because of that. But
yeah. Jason,
hey, I will say, sorry, let me say one more thing, Jason. So I will say, can you all still hear me?
Yeah.
What?
Okay. My screen locked up, but I will say, if you're worried about it, that people are very vocal when they don't want people to have guns. So you need to be just as vocal to keep your guns. So if you don't want that to happen, you need to write your Congress people. You need to write your government. You need to start, getting vocal and out there and having your opinion known. Just sitting back and hoping that the NRA is going to fight for you is not the way to go forward.
And there are other organizations that do that besides the NRA.
Yep, that's what I was going to talk about, Cody. So, like, Second Amendment Foundation, Firearm Policy Center. There's some great organizations out there that are fighting, and I don't know if you guys are aware, NRA went into bankruptcy status. It might just be a big ploy. Who knows? I know they're reincorporating in Texas to kind of ditch a lawsuit that was coming in New York. I don't know why they were incorporated in New York to begin with. Maybe they've been that way for years and years and years. But like Walsh was saying, like, get smart on this stuff. Know what your rights are. Know that each state's going to be a little bit different. I know Montana a few years back, they passed a state law that really to help AR-15 manufacturers in the state. So the law was, in a nutshell, like, okay, this company can't sell online. They can only sell to Montana residents. The idea behind the state law was, if this gun is not crossing state lines, then interstate commerce doesn't apply, and therefore the federal government has no say on those Montana AR-15s. But you just got to get smart about where you live, what your state laws are, and hopefully you live in a state unlike mine where your representatives are a little bit more pro Second Amendment.
And I will say we've been through this. So
new.
Remember
it's not new.
No, and remember when how much were 30-round magazines? 6 years ago? Like $100?
They were going for crazy amounts. Yeah, and Gun Broker and stuff like that. Stupid.
So we're in an ammo shortage now. People are already panic buying. So we've talked about stocking up already amongst our team, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. So one other point that I was making to some friends this past weekend, 2020 saw 8 million new gun owners, into the roll. So not just people buying 8 million guns, but 8 million first-time gun owners.
That's
And
awesome.
so you have, yeah, it's fantastic. But here's where the ammo shortage and for me as a reloader, reloading shortage is coming. So you have COVID hit. CEO of Hornady and Nasser have come out and talked about they're running basically 24/7, but because of COVID, they're split into 3 shifts. So their production has come down, even though they're working 24/7. You have 8 million new gun owners in the marketplace, and basically the same amount of production as 2019. So of course there are going to be shortages. Now my reloading supplier has said don't expect any relief until for reloading supplies. Don't expect relief on reloading supplies until summer of 21. I've heard rumors on the ammo front not to expect relief until 2023. So if you don't reload, I would seriously consider it. I mean, it's an investment, or don't go to gun broker and pay $200 for a brick of 22 LR. Don't do that.
Yeah,
But just
stop doing that. Someone's doing that.
Yeah, someone's doing that. Be conservative with what you have, and just kind of hold out and know that relief is going to be coming. We just don't know when.
Jason, that kind of segues a little bit, and yeah. So Black said thanks. One more thing too. Congratulations to Black. He was our Patreon winner for this month. So he won
cool.
a PL2 Mini in the OD green. So I just sent that out to him today. So
dang, lucky.
Yeah.
Congrats, man.
Thanks for the question, Black. I love seeing your face.
Jason, it does lead us in a little bit. So we do have a reload video coming up. Jason, can you give a little bit of input into what that's going to look like?
Yeah, so we're going to do going down this thought process of, Walsh had asked recently about what he would need to reload, and I thought, well, there's probably a lot of people that don't know. So we're going to go through kind of a reloading 101. The first video is just going to be, these are some of the things to look at to buy now. I'm kind of in Joe's camp on this. I went stupid cheap on my reloading stuff. I think I'm into my initial reloading setup for under $200, and I've reloaded thousands of rounds on this press.
Got me some.
Yeah, got some to Walsh. So we're going to go through just 101 basic reloading items that you would need to start reloading. And then we're going to do a second video, which is going to actually go through the process of reloading and show you how to do that, how to set up your dies, how to use powder measure, things like that. And then to kind of tie in with what Joe's working on, we're going to do a ladder load video, explain what a ladder load is, show you how I do it. There's a couple different ways to do ladder loads. But yeah, we'll get into all that.
So then the idea is if you get yourself a precision rifle and you really want to dial it in and you really have to care, like if you really want to go from, lose a quarter MOA, like you're at 0.75 and you want to be at a half MOA groups. That's how you do it. You got to build that ladder load. And, seeing Joe's ammo shots on the upcoming 6mm ARC, you really see the difference when you have like this, like shotgun blast, and all of a sudden it shrinks down and then it kind of blows up again. And you're like,
literally that was 0.1 grains. That was 0.1 grain difference.
Yeah, and it's like when you put the flashlight through a scope or something, you move your hand, but you can still see that same where, okay, there's my spot. That's the sweet spot right there.
Yeah, I can't wait for Jason's video because I always thought you kind of loaded at max length. I thought a whole bunch of craziness, and then I really dove into it and watched a couple of videos on YouTube. Honestly, spent about 5 hours watching that one guy, and I learned a ton. So I can't wait to see Jason's videos and talking about, head spacing and ogive, and all of it's important, bumping your shoulder and how you don't want to fully size in the die, and it's all important. Can't wait, Jason.
Yeah.
And we did have some cool stuff being sent to us yet. We haven't got to test it yet, but we have that new hydro sled from Caldwell that Joe's going to be testing, and I also believe that Frankfurt Armory?
Frankfurt Arsenal.
Frankfurt Arsenal. God, I was going to confuse. Frankfurt Arsenal. We have one of our contacts that helps us out with all this, but Frankfurt Arsenal has given us one of their new IntelliDroppers, so it's like a powder measure. Jason was supposed to get me some new 223 ammo, and we came into a small snafu, so they came in to save the day. So they're going to be showing us how to use that, and we'll share it with you too. I'm excited to learn, so then I know what to buy so that I don't have to call Jason for everything I want to reload. He probably won't be happy about that, but I'm gonna be excited to hear about it.
If you ask Joe, when we were trying to get that 224 Valkyrie to work, man, I felt like a mad scientist. Like, okay,
Yeah.
Joe, shoot these, record this stuff, right? He'd send me the numbers, and it was, okay, well, I think this would work best in your gun, and we would put it together. And, man, we probably spent, just between the two of us, I don't know, a couple hours trying to get that gun, reloading back and forth over multiple weeks, trying to get that gun to shoot good. And with all of our reloading knowledge, that gun would not shoot well. Now, we didn't try every projectile and every powder, but we tried
No,
enough
I gave up. Enough people had enough problems with that gun that it wasn't just me. If it was
Yeah.
just me and everybody else was loving
You would've
it,
kept-
then
you
I
would've
would have
kept-
said, yeah, I would have kept going. But
Yeah.
hey, Walsh, you bring up the lead sled. We call it a lead sled, but the hydro sled, right? So I want to kind of explain going forward. I'm gonna set that up. I'm definitely gonna review it. But what I'm trying to do with that is I'm gonna try to take out the human element out of shooting, because I'm not the world's best shot. I'm not even close, right? I'm just moderately okay at shooting. So what I want to do, I want to be able to take the human element out of things and see how just the cartridge and the rifle do. And then eventually, what I want myself for future, what I want to build up to, is I'm going to go from shooting groups on the hydro sled to shooting groups from my bipod. Then I'm in a rear bag. Then I'm going to strip that off and shoot just from a normal bag. And I want to eventually get to where I don't even have a rear bag or anything. From a prone position, just throw down a backpack, throw my gun on top of the backpack, and shoot half MOA groups. So it'll be fun to try out that hydro sled and to take the human element out of things, just to show our viewers what guns are capable of, not so much how terrible of a shot I am.
I'm interested to see it too, compared, because I did that video at like the very beginning, like my second day of shooting long range, where I compared like shooting off a bag and a bipod and a tripod. But like the problem was I wasn't a good shooter, so it was like, all right, let's see me miss a bunch, because I mean any error you see was my fault. It's like, well, that wasn't a very scientific test.
Since we're doing a deep dive into video for all the viewers, you hear Welsh call me out in that video saying, I just want to keep shooting off for this tripod because it annoys Joe. So I gave that man so much grief. I don't know. Shooting off of a tripod sitting on a lawn chair, that's not shooting, man.
It's hard. The tripod was the worst. I would say that was probably the most challenging.
I don't care if it's the worst or the best. That's not shooting. Like, have you seen the movie The Jackal back in the day with Bruce Willis and the bad guy? That's what shooting from a tripod reminds me of, dude. Like, it's a tripod and all mechanical, and he's controlling it with a remote control. Like, I don't know.
But have you seen the precision shooting competitions where they have the tripod? A lot of times you see them run with it, and they just like put their arm on it.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? It's ridiculous.
I've seen some of that.
I'll show you. I'll send you a video.
I know the guys that shoot super long range have the rear bags. That's like they have like the adjustment, sort of like raises and lowers. So they're really just, I mean, they're just on the trigger.
Sorry, man. If you're shooting a competition, great. If you're walking through a field, you better be driving a truck with all your equipment in the back of it.
Part of those competitions though is you have to start the round with all your gear, and you have to bring it with you to each station. So if you even think you're going to use a bipod, you got to bring it with you to each little station.
Yeah, I don't know. I look at everything in the zombie apocalypse, right? Like, what would I have on me in the zombie apocalypse?
You would have a tripod. I know you.
No, I would have an MRE instead of a tripod. Like,
they about weigh the thing.
Yeah. I can definitely see the argument with the bipod on your gun and a rear bag, just in your backpack or even strapped to your belt or anything. You know, I can see that argument. Nah.
I would say the craziest thing, you'd think a tripod would be pretty good, but you don't realize when you're staying, like your brain does so much weird stuff. You don't realize like the natural rise and fall of your chest that really occurs when the entire gun is against that. The whole gun, like if you just have if you have it locked up, that's different. But I had mine kind of on a pivot point, and so the whole gun is just moving all over the place as I'm breathing. And you think it'd be micro, but when you multiply that by all that magnification, you have all this movement, and you're just breathing. So even when I was shooting at
You should have jumped on your rear bag underneath it and not even got behind the gun. Just look through the scope and reach around and pull the trigger and be done with it.
And what's funny, because that 300-yard shot, when I was on the bench, super cake. When I was on that tripod, I cut a lot of that footage out, but it was probably about 20 seconds of me just trying, like doing the whole, like, all right, nope, all right, nope, okay, breathe, okay, wait, hold, okay, go. Like I had to like watch the breathing just to catch it. It was kind of interesting. All right, let's go through some of these comments, though. Junk Dealer's talking about surprises didn't ask you to go to the University of YouTube for manual reference. Yeah, we're going back to the ATN here that we were talking about earlier. The manual for that was like, it had to be 40 pages. The very last page, the most brain damage thing in this whole ATN review, the last page was the zeroing, which made no sense. Like that's like they thinking like that's the last thing you're going to need to worry about was how to zero the rifle. So super confusing.
Yeah, I agree. I've seen so many manuals that just say go online or go to the YouTube channel. Yeah. And it's somebody that doesn't even speak English in their first language, and it's like, man, I don't understand what they're saying. I mean, I love YouTube. It's showed me everything. I can't tell you how many 8-year-olds have showed me how to fix electronic devices, but I don't know.
How to use ATN optic. Like, this is ridiculous. Yeah, I was commenting on Federal put out a video too. Oh, so this is kind of for the TLD team. I don't know if you guys know Brownies for My Fat. He's almost always over in the Alaskan Ballistics chat. So if we get a chance, Cody, see if you can throw him on as moderator too. He moderates a lot of their chats and make sure that he's that he puts out links to different stuff, and he makes sure that nobody's being wild out in the chat. So Brownie, we'll throw you moderator. So if you ever want to jump into our videos, you just know you have full access to kick out Black when he starts to be crazy.
And hey, I want to say something about that, Ken. Well, she said it twice. You can say anything that you want in any of our videos as long as you do it tactfully and respectfully. It's the people that are here just to cause problems that we don't want them causing problems. So if you like something, if you don't like something, if you think we're all just hot garbage, you can say that all you want as long as you do it tactfully and respectfully.
Oh yeah, Walsh gets a rise out of that. Like,
yeah,
a spiffy right now.
Yeah, I was so excited. Like I can't wait till someone tells me I use that ATN wrong. And it was like the first thing you used it wrong. I go, yeah. I'm so excited.
Yeah. I looked through it. That's using it wrong.
I waited all day for this.
Yeah, I put it on my gun. That was wrong step number one.
Yeah. So and Brownie brings up a good point. I've never seen. He's talking about ammo.
You gotta read it out loud, don't we?
Brownie says
ammo scalpers. Yeah.
So I've never seen
scalpers, Joe.
Repackaged ammo. Like it just seems like repackaged. Like, hey, this is now Mark's ammo. Like, man, looks a whole lot like Federal ammo in a different box. But thanks for selling it for $68.
Yeah, so you get these old timers, man. When we had some gun shows here in Washington State before, like the beginning of Trump's presidency, when things were really relaxed, I was going to gun shows and people were trying to sell a brick of like 300 rounds of 22 LR for $80. And I'm looking and go like, I just bought 7 boxes from Walmart for $11 a piece. Like, what do you think you're doing, man? But you get these old timers that just get stuck in like it's always crisis. And it's a mess, man. You go on to Gunbroker. Gunbroker is the worst just because that's the only one that I'm a part of. But even primers, 1,000 primers used to cost $30. Gunbroker, $250. It's bonkers.
Yeah, and everybody, like anybody that knows any better, we know not to buy that, right? Yeah. People, the 8 million people that just bought a gun, they don't know any better. The best way, we're a country of capitalism, right? Best way to get that to stop is don't buy it.
Yep.
If you're buying it, I mean, if it's to defend your house and your family, then do what you got to do. But if you're buying it, you're just adding to the problem. You're just confirming. I mean, and everybody does it, right? Look at the PlayStation 5 right now.
Yep. That's very fair.
Like my in-laws, they picked up a pistol and they couldn't find ammo anywhere, and they ended up buying from what's that horrible one that we all hate?
Cheaper Than Dirt.
cheaper than dirt. And I was like, oh my goodness, how much did you pay? And it was like $60. And,
Yep.
and I was like, you know what? That's horrible, but I'm glad you found some.
Yeah, and
You didn't have any
honestly,
ammo.
like if that's your only choice, yeah, then I say bad on the gun store that sold you the gun.
True.
Honestly, what gun store? If you're out there doing what you're supposed to do, not just trying to make a profit and make your money, you would have never sold that gun to your you said your parents, right, or your in-laws.
My in-laws, yeah.
The gun store would have never sold that to the in-laws unless they had ammo on the shelf to sell it to them.
And Brownies was here when we were talking about this on the Alaskan Ballistic Chat back on Monday. People are going to stores nowadays though, and they're seeing like wonky round, and they're just like, "Hey, what is this? What can I shoot this out of?" And they're buying guns for whatever ammo happens to be on the shelf.
Hey, I was one of those people. I've been looking for 6mm arc forever, and I keep finding 6mm Creedmoor, and I'm like, well, I've never tried 6mm Creedmoor.
Like,
why not? Like, it's on the shelf everywhere around here. I almost did it.
What if there's a reason for that?
Yeah, probably.
All right, we got a comment from Eyes Wide Shut. This is Joe, one of our Patreons. I'm ousting him, but that's all right. He's a good dude. I got a bipod that attaches to my rifle. I took it off and threw it in a box. I don't do much long range shooting though. So yeah, I see a lot of bipods on guns that they shouldn't be on, which can be confusing. You know, you can't do every mission set with one rifle. It just doesn't work. You can't do everything. You can't have a long range gun that then you use for close encounters, but you have a large scope on it and no bipod, or you have a red dot and a bipod. Some of those things just don't work together. Like they don't make a symbiotic mission set. You're not doing the same thing at once. So I don't mind having bipods on rifles, but that just tells me you have a mid to long range gun, and your optics should marry that. Your stock should marry that. But like to have like a pistol brace and then a bipod, which you see all the time, it's confusing. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
This makes me so proud coming from Braden, because when you first started with this, he had Gucci everything on his guns. And I'm so proud of you right now, because we used to have these comments, like he would show us, hey, I bought this for my gun. And we were like, why? But I've seen so much growth out of you. It's amazing.
Hey, Joe, I compliment you for taking that off your gun. There are two places that the bipod is just an awesome attachment on your gun, and that's at the gun range or in an urban environment. A bipod is great when you're putting it on level ground. When you're not putting it on level ground, you need time to set that up. So if you're walking across the field and you need to go prone and fire a shot, go ahead and use your bipod. Because if it's somebody else with a gun that you're shooting at, you're going to be dead before you get the legs adjusted.
And the thing that most people do, and Joe's leading into it right now, normally you're going to shoot at a range and you're going to set up your bipod and zero off of concrete. And then you're going to go and you're going to set that bipod up and you're going to shoot in whatever ground you're going to use. And what Ryan Kleckner talks about this too, why he only ever shoots off of a bag, because it's always going to be the same. He could just you could throw that bag on top of a hood and then pop right, make your zero is going to be good. You're going to be set. You're going to be fine. You're going to the same recoil pattern. And you could throw that bag on dirt, on rocks, whatever. But if you shoot a bipod off rocks, number one, good luck getting set up. And two, it's going to be all screwed up. And then you switch over to grass. It just causes so many problems that the likelihood of you using a bipod over just taking your bag off, throwing it down, setting your rifle on it, I mean, it's so much faster.
For all the hunting and stuff that I did, I just use shooting sticks. Like, I mean,
that's what I was going to say.
I just use 2 shooting sticks, put them in an X, put my hand around that X, put the gun right on top, and then fire for effect, man. Like, you can do that taking a knee, and it's super stable. Just carry some shooting sticks in your cargo pocket or something.
And in a survival evasion, I mean, think you got shooting sticks. Now you got hiking sticks to get out somewhere. I mean, multi-purpose them. And if you got to use it, survival evasion,
Yep.
dual usage.
A javelin? I mean,
Yeah, you could throw them. Cody, were you gonna say something? I don't know if we stepped over you.
Oh, I was just gonna say, in the military, we're taught to train like you fight, right? So if you don't think like Joe's saying, he's leading up, he's gonna train himself to use whatever he's got on himself in a apocalyptic situation. So you want to be able to train that way. That way, those items that you have in your kit's gonna work when you need them.
Yeah, so he's we'll come first. Of course, Black says, "Wow, that's racist," but we love Black. We'll come down to Joe's next comment, but
kick him out.
Black's talking. What's funny is we talk about GPU prices. I was actually helping Jason buy a computer, and I was like, dude, just get a good GPU in it because he's looking to do some video editing. And then we saw the prices, and I was like, oh, never mind. This is just like the ammo. Just get a computer we can upgrade later. We'll just get a GPU when life isn't dumb anymore.
But power supply is the most important thing in your computer.
We're going to do the power supply story eventually. We'll save that one for a better day. Yeah. And Joe said, that's exactly why I took it off. I was going prone, and it's way faster to just throw my pack on the ground. Yeah,
Joe, I don't know you, but I like you, dude.
And that is just in the way trying to manipulate the rifle. Yeah. So exactly. You may find out your bipod is in the way. Brownies, I would build a PC for him. So Brownie said just build a PC. I would build it, but he's over in Washington. Okay, there was a story. I was helping Cody upgrade his computer probably like 10 years ago. My background in computers was more than that, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, 10 years ago, I met Cody.
A long time ago.
15, 16, 17 years ago, yeah.
So we go and we buy a power supply for this new graphics card he got, and I'm just like, cool, all right, no big deal. And we take it all the way back home. Of course, the place to go to is forever away, and the plug doesn't fit into the motherboard. And so I'm like, oh man, like this is my fault. Let's go to the store. I got you the wrong one. Oh yeah, I'm silly. You already bought one. Now I feel bad. So we go back to the store, and the lady's like, "Oh no, it's not the wrong plug. The end of the clip comes off." I was like, "Oh my goodness."
So this was back in the day. It was an old Dell computer. Like I was one of those young guys that bought Dell straight from Dell, so I paid way too much for the most trash computer you could buy, and all I wanted to do was play Flight Simulator on it. Of course, Braden's like, "Oh, we got to put this graphics card in it."
Yeah.
So he did the gun mentality.
Yeah, you cheated out.
Okay.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, Black's talking the 12 pin. Yeah. So we only needed the 8 pin. We had the 12 pin. I didn't know you could just pop the end off. And so yeah, Cody just stared at me. He's like, really? Walsh, like, all right, dude, let's just drive back.
The power supply was like this big, and the freaking computer was like this big. So he wanted to like Velcro it and strap it into the case.
You do what you gotta do. Not a big
it had
deal.
a giant fan on it.
All right. Well, we're coming to the end. Let's each go around and talk about. We talked a little bit. Joe talked about a little bit what he had coming up. Cody and Jason, let's kind of hear a little bit more about what you have coming up in the next week or so, or things that you're working on in the future. We'll just kind of round this video out. Go ahead, Jason. Yeah, go ahead.
So my Montana trip, man.
Skip that.
So I went up to Montana and had a freaking blast, and just got the rest of the video footage from all the other guys that I was with. So I'm going to be starting that video, I don't know, sometime this week. I already have a blooper picked out. So one story I'll share. First time ever on a snowmobile. So we're on the top of the mountain. I rode on the back with someone up to the top of this mountain. Get up there, and the guy says, "Okay, hey, I want you on this snowmobile. Drive around this tower that's up there." And I see him. I'm like second in line. I see him riding towards. It looks like a cliff, and he stops and he comes back and he goes, "Just trust your instincts and trust the machine." And you hear me on the video go, "Oh, that's great. Yeah, Jason's first time. Let's have him drive off a cliff." And then there we go, man.
I like that dude saying trust.
Yeah.
Well, trust your instincts. I don't know. Yeah. Your instincts were not to drive off a mountain.
Yeah.
Trust the machine. Trust the machine.
Okay.
Trust machine and know that snow's soft.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm super excited to see that video too. I know Jason has some more adventures. What we're going to try and do, we're actually going to try to document some of his excursions going out. He's going to show some of his adventures, go over like winter camping and all kinds of cool tricks, stuff that I don't know anything about. So thank God he's
so
here.
I'll be going out to Mount Adams in Washington State President's Day weekend. So Janelle's a little upset because I'll be gone Valentine's Day. I'll be back Valentine's night. So maybe I can make it up to her. But yeah, a buddy of mine, he's a YouTuber as well. So him and I are going to be going up there, documenting our travels, and you'll see a lot more of him in my outdoor videos.
Cool. Okay, Cody, what do you got working on? What are you brewing up?
Well, I don't know if anybody saw the pant video, but I'm got to upgrade my video capturing capabilities. So, got some stuff in the mail, some lighting, some external microphones, hopefully to kind of up my production value on my end of things. But hopefully we're gonna get some gear in that I can review. I don't have any new guns or any builds in the future, so
I want to see your old ones. I want to see the ones you have now. I want to see those reviewed. I think everyone's asking about those. The PCC.
Yeah, you said a lot of subscribers want to see the PCC, so we can crank one of those out. That
PCC? Didn't you get a Magpul chassis for the 700?
Yep, I got I got
chambered in 30-06.
Yep, and I got a Magpul stock for my 1022. I don't know if anybody's interested in that, but
maybe we'll do a little. Maybe Cody, maybe we'll do a little 308 versus 6.5 Creedmoor. Maybe we'll do one of those.
Well, I got 30-06, but yeah.
30-06, sorry, 30-06.
It's like driving a bus.
I'll come up with my little baby 6mm arc and whoop all y'all.
I don't know about all that.
Yep.
All right, so Joe, what else are you cooking?
I don't know. I mean, you and I were talking today, so I did put a trigger in my Hellcat. I got a trigger in that. I have a red dot on it, but I even forgot what it is, man. I didn't pay for it, luckily. But it's like the $400. Yeah, I think it is. The $400 one. And I never really, I mean, Starburst, yes, I know about Starburst because in a kind of cheaper red dot, if you magnify it, you'll get some Starburst in a red dot, right? I've never seen Starburst in a red dot just off the get. And that's how this one is. So, I mean, it works, but luckily I didn't pay for it. So, I appreciate something free because I'm cheap. But I don't know. It all depends. I want everybody else to tell us what they want to see. So, I mean, I don't even know which way to turn. I have gun locker back there. I have my AR-10, my 308. I mean, I'm cheap, right? So I built mine off of Palmetto State Armory. So I have that with a primary arms, the ACS HUD reticle. I have that. I got my lever action 30-30 if I can find some ammo for that.
Ooh, Black Assassin, is there any gear coming out that you guys are excited about?
Yeah, but when I said it today, all three of the Ink guys bashed me for it.
Which one?
The Magpul gun, dude.
Oh, I missed that chat. I was running around today. Yeah.
I'm so excited about that thing. Yes. Yes, I don't.
Okay, so each one of us in this chat has what I call the Strybog gun. I have my Strybog, the actual Strybog, but we use that as a term to call a super crappy looking gun or a super crappy gun that someone likes. I like the Strybog. Jason liked the 50 round.
Caltech 2000.
Yeah,
right.
and
what?
And
Caltech 2000.
Oh no,
that's a 50 round pistol.
That's the foldable. It's the foldable.
Yeah,
oh yeah. That one's horrible too. And then Joe wants the weird handle one.
I have all sexy guns.
Yeah. You got paid what, $1,000 for a gun that breaks into two parts.
I didn't pay
I can't believe. I mean, Black's trying to ask what we're really excited about. I can't believe you're actually excited about that. Did we ever shoot the PSA shield, the cheap Dagger? Have we ever shot one of those? I still want one of those last year. I don't think it ever came.
I want one though.
Yeah.
So gear. We have the guy from XPED. I don't know if they're going to be sending us some winter camping stuff that hopefully I'll have by the time I go to my Mount Mount Adams trip. So we'll have some winter camping mats, a tent, some pillows from them. So we'll be doing a review on all that stuff.
Yeah,
I'm excited because having a nice winter camping mat makes or breaks a winter camping event.
And primary armor is supposed to be, I think we're looking at their new prism scopes are supposed to be new generational. There's some all new prisms they're talking about. I'm trying to get them from them, but God, everybody and their mom wants all the new stuff. So I'm hoping we can get one of those. There's an Athena reticle I want Joe to try for the 6mm arc, but I don't think he's going to.
Oh, I'll try anything that you send to me, but know that if it doesn't beat the Athlon, I'm shooting it.
Oh my God! Well, I don't know if we're gonna do all that.
Might not be ours.
Yeah, it might not be ours to blow up. So
hey, you can send it back with a hole in it.
We also have some from LA Police Gear. They're sending us some plate carriers. That's one thing we're really going to be leaning into is doing a lot more plate carriers. I show my STAC Deodon like all the time, but I never actually reviewed it. And I know we all have different types. Like Cody has a shellback tactical. I have AWS OCPC and the STAC. We all have different ones. And I think it would be nice to show the different types and some pros and cons if people are interested in plate carriers. I think it goes a long way. We have about 1 million more belts. I'll be honest with you, from the Eagle Operator, from Gray Ghost. We have all these now. We're just putting the last finishing touches on the actual pieces on the belt. Big shout out, Grim Hunter Tactical Gear has set us up on the current Eagle Operator gun belt. That one's going to be going to Joe. It's going to be multicam black. It's pretty cool. I was kind of dogging it at the beginning, but it's got some cool features on it. So many belts. It's a ridiculous. We've become the gun belt review channel, which is confusing me, but it's fine. Whatever.
And flashlights.
And flashlights.
Gun belts and flashlights.
Gun belt. Hiya! It's our belts and flashlights day. Like, whatever. Joe's asking, has the Dagger been released? Yeah, I don't know. I want one still. I still want to try it. I would love to have it on the channel.
No, it hasn't been.
Yeah. And they talked about it SHOT Show last year, so interesting.
Yeah, well, COVID, it was supposed to come out May or June of 2020, and then COVID hit, and so everything got delayed.
Okay.
Yeah, just like Arrow's 9mm. Remember that?
Did that ever come out?
No,
dude, I don't know.
They announced their silly charging handle, another ambi charging handle. That's what we all needed.
Dude,
I love Arrow. I love Arrow to death.
I love Arrow, and I was going to buy that, and I waited around for months upon months for them to release it, and they kept it. They didn't even push it back. They just didn't make their deadline and didn't say a word about it. And then I found out. About the CMMG, and I'm telling you what, man, that CMMG delayed radial blowback in the AR, it changed my life. It changed my life. Yeah. Jason could attest to it because I convinced him to buy it.
Yep, I had a Glock lower 9mm AR, and man, you ask these guys, I ranted and raved about that thing. It was my favorite gun to shoot. And Joe talked about this radial blowback, and I just thought, no. Finally got one, and I haven't shot my Glock lower AR9 since then. My CMMG is now my favorite gun to shoot.
Yep.
I still need to try it. I do want to have another quick shout out to gear.com. They did send me out some proper boots. So I know there's probably a lot of military or retired military in here. I got some boots I'm going to be able to try out for you. I'm going to go on a bit of a ruck and just kind of tell you mile by mile if my feet are getting destroyed or not. I'm just working on breaking them in so I'm not just immediately dying and bleeding at the end. So big thanks to gear.com, Allison over there for hooking us up with some cool stuff. Hopefully we're going to get some more stuff from them that we can go out to the field and test for you. So we're going to kind of try to broaden out so that we don't get too locked into the political spectrum. So kind of staying in that guns, gear, and outdoors, a little more outdoors with the way the world's turning right now. But hopefully we can have some cool stuff we can show you guys. We still love doing the tactics stuff. So if you want to learn tactics, if you want to learn training, let us know and we'll dig more into that and we'll kind of show you some tips and tricks. I have a little bit more pistol ammo thanks to Jason, and hopefully when it starts to warm up I can go back and do some more.
Let's talk about that for a second, Braden. I don't know if you're trying to stick to this arbitrary timeline or not, but let's talk about that because you started that all because you're military, you knew how to pick up a gun, you knew how to run a gun. But that's about where your knowledge stopped, right? And a couple years ago, you got into the whole gun thing with inline defense when we were starting that. and you started buying a couple guns, and then you were going to the three of us saying, hey, what kind of drill should I do? What should I be doing? And you actually implemented what we were saying. That's the important part. You implemented it and you stuck to it. And you saw such a drastic change in your ability and your comfort and how you're able to handle a weapon that you decided to start making videos about it, right? So you tell us about that. How did that whole process go? And if somebody wants to learn, what are they going to learn from your videos?
I think my biggest hidden gem is the videos that no one's ever going to watch. Like this channel for me started with the zero to YouTube hero, just kind of as a joke, like to go from nobody to be like, oh, you're going to be a YouTube hero. That to me probably has a lot of the hidden gems that people are missing that no one's ever going to watch. Like they're going to see, the beginning videos that blew up, like the Hellcat trigger videos and some other ones that just kind of blew up. And there's some hidden ones in there. And it was interesting to understand the number of iterations required. So when I'm watching videos and I'm watching Tactical Riflemen, these awesome guys, and I even reached out to T-Rex Arms and I was like, hey, can I use your footage and my stuff? And they're like, yeah, go ahead. All these big name guys were working with me. And I'm asking them for guidance. I'm like, all right, so how many times should I do this week's drill? And they're like, 10,000 times. Like, okay, that's a different number than I was expecting. And you start to realize when you do a draw 10,000 times, 5,000 to 10,000 times, you get really good. Like you get really good, you get really fast, you get really confident. And that's kind of something you were talking to me about when I was getting pretty good and I was training a lot more with it, where you were like, yeah, well, you're probably like you hadn't trained as much anymore. Like you probably have exceeded me now because you just kept going. It was about
absolutely. Going. So when you first started, man, if you and I were in an old school Western gunfight, like I'd have put 4 rounds in you and been able to do a reload before you even knew what you were doing, right? Before you even got your gun on target. Now I'm gonna lose. Like you went from being able to, your typical gun range shooter. That's what you went from, right? So you're a gun range shooter. If the gun's on the bench, you can pick up the gun, you can point it, and you can fire, right? And possibly kill some paper within 20 yards. You went from that to being absolutely lethal, dude. I was super impressed, man. I was so happy for you, and I was so impressed that, I know it. I know that it takes a repetition, and I need to do it, but I just need to get my gear set up first. But
I think
I'm proud of you.
My crowning moment from you, like the achievement I always remember the most, is when you told me, you're like, well, normally I would tell people if they're going to reload to step out into cover, but that's just going to waste time for you. Just press forward, just reload and press.
Yep.
It's like,
yeah, dude. Yeah, and see, I'm still in the mindset that I drop behind cover to reload. But if you're going to reload that fast, dude, fuck that. Oh, sorry. F that.
Whatever we can do. We drop a few of those. But yeah, so it sounds funny, but if you really are learning and you want to see someone, like I went from nothing. Yeah, I know how to operate a gun, kind of, and going to being super proficient at the end of that Zero to YouTube series without any shooting. Like I think the end is when I shot the first actual live shot.
So you went shooting and then you did all this training in between, and then you went shooting again to compare.
Yeah. And it was, astronomical difference. So, yeah, I really think that's a lot about, and I think that's what started the channel too, like recording some of the training. Like, okay, let's just go out and shoot. Let's learn and slow down. What are we doing wrong? What are we doing right? It was funny. The rifles are my weakest now, where it's because I don't train with them. If you wanted me to go do a quick mag reload on a rifle, it's gonna be bad. Like, let me hope I get a little bit of good footage in there. I'll splice it up.
Yeah.
All right. You got anything else to add? Otherwise, we can wrap this one up.
Yeah. Don't forget to shout out the merch.
Which merch? Talking about?
T-shirts.
Oh, Cody, go ahead. You can lead it.
Yeah.
So, thankfully, Joe's daughter, Mile High Angel, she's got her shop up right now, and you can go through our website, drop down the menu. There's a merch tab in there, and it'll take you right to her shop where you can buy a couple of our T-shirts that we designed as a team.
There is the tactical girth shirt, so yes, you can get it. Joe, is the 1911 shirt up yet or no?
Yeah, I think it is, because I wasn't gonna wait for y'all's approval for that one.
Oh, it's not up. I don't see it. I don't see it on there. I'm looking at it right now.
Then I need to contact my daughter. My angel, why ain't my 1911 up there?
Yeah, so there's the link. There's a link to the merch. The idea. So he has a cool one where it says 1911 and it has like a parts breakdown of the actual 1911 on the back. So the idea is we're gonna have some other ones on there. I really want to copy that style. I would love to have a 6.5 or something cool with like a Ruger broken down on the back. I don't know. I would love to have something like that. Even if we did the P320, Cody, we need to steal his idea and do that one. I'm all about it.
I'm game.
Just an AR. An AR would be cool.
Yeah. Big shout out.
Don't do that stupid Stoyberg or Striger or whatever it's called.
Strybog.
Yeah, that
Do
one.
the Strybog.
Strybog.
It's gonna be a big pile of dog poop.
Yeah, and then on the front, put instead of Strybog, just put Ugly Baby.
Listen, you guys all have your ugly babies too, and I have to sell those too.
If I make one for my little Magpul gun, my Magpul flip up gun, it'll be like most impractical gun ever or something like that.
I love my Strybog. I feel like I'm on Die Hard, like it's 1994 all over again. Like,
yeah. Oh, that's what you should do with the ATN optic. Put it on that gun.
Oh my goodness, great! I need to get it
straight from the 80s, dude.
Could you imagine? Like, I think like the world would like have a time warp and just implode on itself.
Yeah, dude. If you do that, I bet you could get Arnold and Bruce Willis to come to your house, dude.
Yeah, I need like the zip. Like then I get like the automatic lace shoes and like a hoverboard. Like I need all that.
Oh, the pumps, bro. The pumps.
And a DeLorean.
And the DeLorean, and just come out and be like, "Hey, everybody, like, what year are you from?" I'm from 1987.
And some MC Hammer pants.
Yeah. So big shout out. So yeah, get some merch if you hadn't gotten some already. We would love to see it. We're gonna be showing on the channel. We'd love to see you guys repping us. We're gonna be giving out some of those shirts to our Patreon members. So don't be surprised if you're a Patreon and I send you a sweet shirt one of these days. Big shout out to those Patreon members. We have some guys who have been supporting us when we had like 200 subscribers, and I remember like telling Joe and Jason Cody like, "Oh my God, guys, we have Patreon supporters. We're making $6. Like, that's like this is amazing." So we love to do giveaways for those Patreon supporters. We keep that up almost every month because we have the extra gear to give them. I hope we can continue to do it every single month. Thankfully, we've been able to. So if you're a Patreon supporter or you're looking to be a Patreon supporter, we do give back to you, mostly in Olight flashlights because we're swimming in them. But it's something, man.
Yeah, and the more the channel builds, the better that stuff is gonna get, right? So we're giving away stuff instead of that we get for free for review. So if we review it, don't need it, don't see anything else coming down the pipe for the review, then we'll give it away, and eventually they're going to get better and better.
Yeah, I think one of those LA Police gear plate carriers we're going to be getting. I'm sure we're going to give away one of the two of them. I mean, we're getting with two that are heading our way, so I'm sure we're going to review them and give at least one, if not two, to one of our Patreon supporters. So
yeah, unless we shoot it.
Oh, don't we? Well, we could shoot it.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I'm telling you, I'm going to shoot it. If you send something to Colorado, I'm probably going to get shot. Did everybody out there see me shoot that Olight? Yeah. I want to see how tough it is, man. I want to see how tough it is.
I thought we made a deal that if the flashlight didn't break, that I got to have it.
Yeah, we did make that deal. It won't go into the mount anymore, and it'll probably cut you. You got to file down a couple of those holes, but yeah, it's yours. It's yours if you want it.
Well, we should just give it to a Patreon supporter. Like, hey, thanks for the support.
Here's a shot up flashlight.
Where's he at in the chat? I guarantee you, he would take it. Like, give me that. He'd be like, give me that bird shot, Warrior Pro.
Dude, I hit that. I hit that with steel shot. Yeah. I hit that with steel shot. I thought for sure.
I was impressed.
I didn't think the bird shot would do anything. In the steel shot, I just got lucky, I think. Only a couple BBs of it hit it, and it hit it all in the right places. I mean, there is a good an eighth of an inch gouge, like hole into the flashlight, but it still turns on.
It's like it's good to go. Nah, whatever.
Yeah, it's sitting upstairs right now. I wish that I could mount it on the gun, but
We gotta find it. Well, maybe we can repair it because that would be worth it. I would love to have that on my gun, just for how cool that would look. Like what happened to this?
Yeah, I mean the mount took 2 beatings. So the first beating the mount took when I strapped it in the vise, and I strapped that handguard in the vise. It just started beating the living heck out of it, and it was the side to side beatings that actually started stripping the little screws out in there. And then it got hit. Then it got shot. So
maybe I get somebody. We'll see if we can get someone to fix it, but we'll see. It's too cool to get rid of. So I'll say that.
Oh yeah, it ain't ever gonna get rid of. But
yeah. All right. So I don't have anything else to add. Anybody else have anything they want to add before we close this one up?
No, I think next time we should go over like the history of thin line defense. That's a pretty good story. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll share the videos we got coming out next week, and then, like I said, we're trying to do this chat every Thursday. So feel free to join us. Feel free to have some questions, and get involved. You guys are pretty quiet this time. Be more involved. We'd love to have the interaction. Usually I get people who are angry about how we use gun or how I use a red dot or LPVO. That makes people crazy how I use things. I don't know why.
Hey, can we talk about that real quick since we're here?
Oh yeah.
Why?
Hold on. Wait.
Why in God's green earth would you buy an LPVO if you weren't going to use it as a red dot in place of a red dot? I
don't understand.
Why?
And Joe, I don't know if Joe's gone right now, but him and I have talked about this a little bit in Instagram. Every single time I put up an LPVO video, and I think Brownies from my fat heard me talk about this on the Alaskan Ballistics video. Someone comes in every time and yells at me for using the LPVO like a red dot. I'm like, well, it's a 1x8. So why would
what's the one function of an LPVO? Why not just put a 3x9 on it?
And as a first focal plane, though, that's the tricky part people need to realize. A first focal plane, that 1x isn't usable, and 2x isn't either. So it really is a 3x6.
I am the biggest fan of first focal plane, and I actually have the first focal plane LPVO. It's trash. It's garbage. I can't see anything at 1x.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge fan of first focal plane, but in an LPVO, go second.
Mm-hmm. See what Black's saying though? Next time, can you guys all wear masks? Joe is the only responsible one here.
Right?
I thought we already kicked him out.
Yeah. Already kicked Black out of the chat.
Cut him off. He's had enough.
Yeah, I mean,
Brownie, I was just referring to something I said on the Alaskan chat. I didn't know if you had heard it before. I was just referring to the same content though.
Yeah, and I think Cody, did you buy me that sweet mask?
Yeah.
You did?
I was hoping it was going to be a surprise. It'll be a surprise for them, but yeah, it's coming.
Okay.
So I hope you got. Oh, I'm so excited. So Joe, he will have a new official mask that I'm hoping is going to be every mask but shooting, because I don't think he can shoot in it. If he can,
shoot in it.
Oh, disregard. So he is going to have a fantastic. Black's going to love it. Black's going to absolutely love this new mask. So it's unfortunate he already got kicked out of the chat, but he will enjoy it.
All right, see ya. Don't mess with me.
All right, I'm gonna call this one. We're trying to make these an hour long, but we're not like sticking to it super hard. And Joe's gotten in the groove. He's like ready now. He's like, no, man, let's do this all day.
Hey, can we talk about that? Can we talk about Joe?
Can I piggyback on that?
Stuff?
This is the only chat we're gonna do, so we have to do it on this one. So Joe, write down some things you want to talk about next week. And
hey, y'all are welcome. Y'all are welcome.
Hey, can we talk about that real quick, Walsh?
Yeah, absolutely.
How we're welcome.
See, there's Joe though. He's like, yeah, it always makes me laugh. First focal plane 1x is only usable as a red dot. Yeah,
it's not even reusable as a red dot. It's black and I can't see it. It's so small. It's like this big and I can't see it.
That's what she said.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna do my next LPVO video and I'm gonna use it as a 1x, and I'm like doing multi-target. Someone's going, "What are you doing? That's a long
No, dude. Do you know what you need to do for your next one? You need to put one on your gun and then use the other one on a cantilever mount as a magnifier. So then you can say you use an LPVO as a magnifier.
Have it behind the LPVO?
Yeah. 2 LPVOs in a row, dude.
And put them both at 1x.
Yep. It's going to be perfect.
All right, so thanks everyone. We'll end on that note. Thanks for coming out for our first episode of our live chat. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys see that we're super serious, but we do like to hear from you guys, and I can't wait to do more of these, and we'll talk about more of our ridiculousness. You guys can actually see some of the 6mm arc stuff that we're talking about, and we got some new belts. We got some cool stuff coming out. So hang out, wait to see it. Come be a Patreon member. Let us give you some cool stuff. That's all I got.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Dang, you need to work on the closing, Braden.
Well, go ahead. You try it again.
Hey, can we talk about that? Can we talk about that real quick?